officials of the region. So first was with the governors and the mayors. Previously, hinol natin yon at the other hotel. This is a second installment of a series of activities that deals with orienting and enhancing the skills of the local chief executives. So the activity today was actually graced by the Chief Minister of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. He continues to advocate for the adoption of moral governance at the different levels of the local government units as well as that of the regional government. So in today's speech, the Chief Minister urged everyone to support the program by institutionalizing the call for moral governance through legislation. It's an important step towards mainstreaming and ensuring that the program that he is trying to propagate is actually sustained through legislation. So we're happy to have him in today's event. We have around 60 participants from the different local government units of the Bangsamoro, so vice governors and vice mayors. Today also, we are in Radyaboyan, the Bangsamoro Ready, which is the emergency response team of the Bangsamoro government is in Radyaboyan to join the local government unit there on bloodletting activity and a medical mission. So even as we speak, the personnel of the emergency response is already in Radyaboyan conducting the medical mission and the bloodletting activity in partnership with several government institutions also and the local government of Radyaboyan. You would also note that last 7 September, we launched the second phase of the decommissioning process as agreed between the government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, which is part of the comprehensive agreement on the Bangsamoro. You note that the agreement calls essentially for a parallel and simultaneous implementation of 2 tracks. One is the political track that allows the Bangsamoro to have their own government through the enactment of a law, and which is why you have the organic law for the Bangsamoro and the establishment of the political entity called the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Parallel to that, when the step is taken to ratify the organic law and establish the Bangsamoro government, there's a corresponding commitment from the part of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front to the Commission its combatants and weapons. So we've officially launched that on the 7th of September. For phase 2, what has been agreed is that 30% of the weapons and combatants of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front will be decommissioned. A total of 12,000 combatants were actually submitted by the MILF for verification of the independent decommissioning body. After the verification process is done, they will go through the ceremonial process of being decommissioned. So for this stage, we expect to decommission a total of 12,000 combatants and also 30% of the weapons, total weapons of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. So what you saw last 7th September is just a part of the 12,000 combatants, the part of the 30% of the weapons, because that is what the IDP manage to verify. So, hindi ho kaya ng IDB na i-verify kaagad yung 12,000. So, meron silang scheduling for it. So, which is why the number in the event last September 7 did not reach up to 12,000. So, ang nakaya lang i-verify ay 1,000 plus ng event decommissioning value. So, that's the other significant event. The other one that's also important is that last September 5, we brought for the first time the Mindanao humanitarian team and the Bangsamoro government to a second meeting of the joint meeting of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Regional Government and the Mindanao humanitarian team in Basilan. This is the first time that the meeting has been held in one of the island provinces. INGOs were prohibited to send their personnel in the island provinces for security reasons. So we marked the first initial step of this government to bring the meetings in the island provinces. So we are very thankful to the security sector, the UN agencies, the other INGOs, the provincial government of Basilan and the city of Lamitan for kindly hosting us in the first ever meeting of the Mindanao humanitarian team in the island provinces. I think we brought up roughly around, well, more than 30 combination of INGOs and UN agencies in the field of humanitarian work in the island province of Basilan. Our hope is that we can bring the next meeting to another island provinces, which is really to break the long time held prejudice that we cannot hold meetings with internationals in the island provinces. So it is both an important step to signify that there is relative peace in the islands and that people from different countries can actually go there. The agreement after the meeting in Basilan is to hold the next meeting in Tawi-Tawi. So we hope we will succeed in the next meeting and that many of you by then will be able to join us. So that's the significant events that have taken place in the last week for the regional government. Maraming salamat po, and then we'll try to respond to some of your queries.
Thank you very much, sir. Pwede na po tayo mag-start sa ating pong media forum. Who would like to ask question first? Please specify your name and your entity. Sir Ferdinand Cabrera. Wait.
Sir, good morning. Yung activity dyan, sir, yung legislators, ano yung gusto nating mga legislation na magawa nila for the Bangsamoro?
Kasama ho sa mga gusto nating maayos ay yung pag-cascade ng legislation from the region pababa doon sa mga local government units. Una-una dahil meron tayong panibagong batas na kaiba doon sa naunang organic law. So dapat medyo merong context yung mga kasama natin from the different local government units kung ano yung bago at ano yung maaaring mga pagbabago doon sa areas of legislation. So una yun. Pangalawa ay gusto rin natin na yung innovation and excellence in the local government units, mga iba-ibang programa na proven to have resulted in positive impact in the communities are actually legislated. Hindi na yung programa lang na after nung isang mayor, yung susunod hindi na niya pagpapatuloy. So gusto natin maging stable yung policy environment for ensuring that the excellent programs generated from LGUs are actually strengthened further and become more sustainable through legislation. So yun yung kasama dun sa pinag-usapan. Siyempre, ang overall pa rin na gusto natin nangyari ay yung advokasya sa rehiyon na ayusin natin yung pagpapatakbo ng gobyerno ay makascade natin dun sa mga kasama natin sa local government units. Ang paliwanag natin ay hindi kaya na ang rehiyon lang ang mag-ayos. Kakailanganin po natin na lahat tayo sa gobyerno ay mag-ayos para yung serbisyong nararapat dun sa mga kababayan natin ay dumating sa kanila ng mas mabilis at mas efficient sa mga mamamayan natin.
May mga existing laws na sa mga LGUs na paano nila yung sa bagong sa BTA pag na bumaba sa kanila?
Merong, so essentially dalawa naman yung legal framework for legislation in the region. Una, yung organic law. So you have a new organic law. Pangalawa ay with respect to local government units, yung local government code. In the case of the region today, we are just refining after the consultations in the different provinces the draft of the local government code. So yung team ko was actually, I met the team again yesterday just to look at the progress in terms of what has been done and what needs to be done in the drafting. Substantive na ho yung draft ng local government code team. Our hope is that within the year it's passed and that the framework for local legislation is taken from these two. One is organic law and the other one is the local government code. So yun yung tinitingnan natin. Beyond that, we are also finalizing two important programs of the Ministry for Local Government Units. This is the awards and incentives for excellence and innovation in local governance. That will already be a part of the regular budget of the Ministry that would recognize excellence and innovation in LGUs in terms of programs and excellence and innovation in terms of leadership. There are two more award categories that we are evolving, but we will, for next year, hopefully January, launch at least two. Next two, we think we can do that in 2021. And subsequently, let's see if this one enhances the performance of local government units. The first award really is an award for individual local chief executives who exemplifies moral governance at its best and innovation and excellence. The other one would be an award that relates to innovative and excellent local government units programs. So, programa naman yung isang i-award natin. Both of these will be recognized by the regional government and subsequently given incentive. So, merong premyo na ibibigay. So, that's the one that we are also looking at and trying to get the inputs from the local legislators para ma-enhance natin yung programa pa.
Anong tawag sa awards na yun, sir?
Initially, kanina, pinag-uusapan namin ni Chairman, ang isa ay, so the Leadership Award, even in my proposal now for the 2020 budget, is called the Sheikh Salamat Hashim Leadership Award, which would be given to innovative and excellent local government executives in the region.
Good morning, I'm Michael Swan from the SMY. Attorney, kailan umpisan yung budget deliberation dito sa budget ng farm sa Parliament? Lahat ba ng agency nakapag-submit ng budget sa Budget and Finance Management?
Nakasubmit na ho ang mga ministries. Let me just look at my calendar dahil nakaschedule na ho yung mga pagdepensa ng mga local government units sa kanilang budget. So I'll check the communication from the Ministry of Finance. So apparently, ang official na start ng budget hearing is on 11 September. That's tomorrow.
Bukas.
So bukas po ng umaga magsisimula na yung technical budget hearing. So the ministries will be asked to defend their budget before the Ministry of Finance, Budget and Management. My ministry is scheduled on the 16th of September, sa Monday. So Monday ho kami magde-depensa ng budget namin. But overall, nakasabit na ho lahat ng mga ministries. And, I think everyone is prepared to defend their budget.
Ano yung pinakamalaking agency minister yung makakuha ng malaking budget?
Wala pang assurance kung sino makakakuha ng malaking budget. But ang meron in the presentation of the Minister of Finance, Budget and Management, ang pinakamalaking nire-request ng budget ay ang Ministry of Basic, Higher, and Technical Education.
Sa infra minister, mag-update ako dahil 6 months ng PARBA. So parang wala masyado napapansin ng tao yung paggalaw sa DPWH o sa Minister of Public Works. Kasi may mga narinig kami na may mga budget na na-revert dahil daw sa parabang hindi masyado na-implement yung project within 6 months. How true ba yun?
Yung sa Ministry of Public Works, ang meron ay yung maintenance ng national roads ongoing. So if you look at yung highway from Cotabato City going towards Sultan Kudarat, the one going towards North Cotabato, one going towards Lanao del Sur, lahat po ng national roads and bridges may ongoing na maintenance. So na-release yan, ina-execute na ang maintenance work dyan. Ang pangalawa ay yung 2019 na infra fund, part of that ay na-release na rin at nagkakaroon na ng bidding ng mga projects. So meron na, I think 3 sets na yung bidding na nakanta. So merong galaw. The other one, I think, the other one is yung previous year na projects na award at ginawa. Siyempre, hindi natapos. Meron na rin request sa DBM to pay the collectibles of the contractors who've been validated by the Ministry of Public Works and Highways. So kung na-award sa yung contract last year, nagtrabaho ka, may natapos ka, syempre manilingin ka. So meron na rin yung the corresponding work accomplished by the contractors. Kasi yung gobyerno, payment in government, tatlo lang naman ang basis for payment. Work accomplished with ED, ibig sabihin natapos, hindi pwedeng bayaran yung hindi natatapos. So work accomplished, services rendered, ibig sabihin trabaho nagawa na, and then goods delivered. The 3, lahat may ED, kailangan natapos na. So kung supply yan, kailangan na-deliver na yung supply. Kung services yan, kailangan na trabaho na. Kung namang contract yan, o work, kailangan nagawa na bago pwedeng bayaran ng gobyerno. So yun yung basis for the payment. In any of these cases, there has to be a certification na nangyari yun. There has to be a process of verifying it. Probably part of what has delayed the execution of some of the work or the payment even is that you need to verify the works accomplished.
Hello.
Hello, good morning po, attorney. Good morning, everyone. My name is Cal Polapar from Bandera News. Sir, I only have 2 questions na gusto ko i-first sa story ko. But first, I'll go with the action po ng MILG po sa recent bombing po sa Sulu. Ano na po ang na-take na ating tanggapan, sir?
Yung bombing in Sulu, ang lead doon ay ang Armed Forces of the Philippines at saka ang PNP. What we have done so far is to require the report from our field officers in Sulu on the incident. The other one that we've agreed is to call the Regional Peace and Order Council meeting. So there will be a RPOC meeting on the 26th. Part of what we need to take up are 2 areas of concern for us. One is the ongoing skirmishes in the SPMS box in Maguindanao. The other one is the ongoing fighting, in particular in Sulu, para ma-address natin yung dalawang major challenge natin.
So, hinihintay pa lang po natin yung mga reports, sir. Yes, okay. Sir, in terms of the recently concluded po na decommissioning process sa Sudan All Provincial Capital, sir, I don't know, I'm not sure sa part ni Secretary Galvez, but on the side of the Bangsamoro government, do we have plans or programs po that we are going to take on monitoring not only on the decommissioned combatants but also on the socio-economic assistance that we will be providing them?
Ang system kasi dyan, yung implementation of the normalization track of the agreement is not through the Bangsamoro government. So hindi yun ang main implementing mechanism natin. Main implementing mechanism natin is the national government for this. The other one is the donor institutions through the normalization trust fund. So government money, of course, goes through its national government agencies. The other one is donor money that addresses the urgent concerns of combatants. It goes through a mechanism that has been jointly agreed by the parties. The funding for that is through the setting up of a normalization trust fund. Yun yung system. How do we monitor the implementation of the socio-economic package? Wala pang malinaw na agreement, but we will certainly take up the issue when the Joint Normalization Committee meets, where I also sit as a member. So it's 3-3 from government, 3 from us. Because the original proposal from us during the inter-cabinet meeting in AWA is that if it is possible, the implementation should be a partnership between the national agencies and the agencies of the Bangsamoro. But apparently may challenge the national government to that setup. So they decided to go through the national agencies. So for instance, cash assistance is through DSWD national. Training is a skills training through the TESDA national. Agriculture inputs for livelihood through the Department of Agriculture of the national government. The next question, however, is, and so who monitors the implementation of the program? There's a general discussion about Joint Normalization Committee tracking the implementation of the programs in the hope that when we get a baseline, for instance, for now, ano ba yung estado ng mga combatants at saka communities natin sa ngayon. So we do a baseline study. And then because the normalization calls for the transformation of the combatants and the communities into peaceful, productive communities, how do we measure that? Saan na tayo at certain stages of the implementation? We have not yet fully developed the mechanism for doing that, but I hope in the next meeting of the GNC we can take that up.
Sir, good morning and assalamualaikum everybody. My name is Limudin Kedatuan from the FTC Radio 95.9 FM Cotabato. Sir, ang aking katanungan is regarding dun sa nangyaring decommission last Saturday. Ang ano ko doon yung yung mga combatant po yung nag-decommissioning is nakatanggap po sila ng 100,000 cash. So how about the livelihood na ibibigay yung mga like yung pabahay, saka yung scholarship, kailan po magiging effective?
Kasama sa pinresent sa ating government yung iba-ibang component. Hindi pa natin alam yung exact na date ng start ng iba-ibang package. So, for instance, when should the livelihood package start? Although may general agreement kami na kailangan mabilisan because hindi natin pwedeng nakatenga yung mga combatants na walang nangyayari sa buhay nila after na i-decommission. Baka magpa-recommission yan. Pagka after na decommission yan, wala daw, nabuboard kami, magpa-recommission na. Ayaw din natin yun. Of course, combatants trained, experience in warfare, and therefore very attractive for some other groups. So ayaw din natin yun na ma-expose sila, becomes vulnerable to the recruitment of some other groups. Or maybe interested because hindi mo na kailangan mag-invest ng time for training, experience in combat dahil nandyan na. So, government and ourselves understands perfectly the need to quickly deliver on the packages.
Assalamualaikum and good morning everybody. Attorney, bago po lahat, ako po si Tata Abdul Karim from DXII 107.5/FM Radyo Pilipinas, parang Maguindanao. My question is with regards to the decommissioning of MILF and BIAF from combatants to civilian. So, ano po yung ibig sabihin na there's a chance ba na pwede pa silang makahawak ng armas yung nag-submit ng mga baril? At second, paano po natin masisigurado na safety po yung pinaglalagyan ng mga ibang uri ng baril? At kung ito po ba ay gumagana pa or mga bago or luma? Marami pong salamat.
Yung pong decommissioning is a process that we've agreed with government, and ang ultimate end ng decommissioning ay yung mga combatants ng MILF ay maging normal yung buhay nila. So, but that does not preclude the possibility of some of these combatants choosing as a pathway into becoming productive members of the society, joining the security sector. So, pwedeng maging police, pwedeng maging sundalo. In which case, pwede silang humawak ulit ng baril. But this time around, hindi na yung baril para labanan yung gobyerno. So, it's still possible, but that's just one of the pathways for combatants to get into service to the country and to the community. But generally, and many of the combatants would not choose the pathway of joining the security sector, either police or soldiers, and therefore they will no longer hold firearms. They will engage either in agriculture, some other work that gives them income, and for them to become more productive members of the society. So yun po yung pathways for them. Doon sa safe keeping at yung verification of weapons, ang agreement ng parties is that there is an independent decommissioning body chaired by the government of Turkey and with representatives from some other countries and institutions and local experts. Sila ho yung nagbe-verify at nag-inspect doon sa mga weapons. So sila ang may alam kung ano yung kalidad ng weapons na dinala ng mga combatants ng MILF at kung ito ba ay bago, ito ay luma. For obvious reasons, yung mga baril ay hindi bago dahil ginamit na yan sa giyera in the last several decades. So yung mga baril na yan ay gamit na gamit sa pakikipaglaban. how do we safekeep the weapons that have been decommissioned? The agreement between the parties is that this will be deposited in an agreed area, which will then be placed under the jurisdiction of the independent commissioning body. So they will be the one safekeeping it, protecting it, and ensuring it will be put beyond use, hindi na magamit. The system adopted by the ITB is quite sophisticated. So hindi simply dahil mga iba sa kanila ay nagtrabaho na in some other parts of the world that went through this process, like Nepal, where substantial number of weapons was also safe-kept when the Maoist insurgency group in Nepal decided to enter into this agreement with government. So experiensyado ko yung nag-handle ng decommissioning process. So wala tayong issue doon sa safety and security ng mga weapons na din-turn over sa kanila.
Hello? Okay. Good morning po. Attorney Argan Apatan alias Student Cotabato. Attorney, I would just like to ask regarding doon sa mga ongoing na demolition or yung pag-clear ng mga roadblocks. 100% na po ba ng mga local government units ang sumusunod dito or may mga reports po ba kayo na natatanggap na there are some na hindi wala pang ginagawang aksyon? May time frame po ba, and ano yung magiging action ninyo if ever meron pang LGU na wala pang ginagawa with regards to this po?
Ang general na report sa atin ay halos lahat nagko-comply yung mga LGUs. From the island provinces all the way to Lanao del Sur and Maguindanao, may compliance doon sa directive to clear the highway of obstructions. Ang ano natin, ang hindi lang natin masyado klaro ay kung yung bang lahat ng roads na kailangan malinis ay nalinis na. But nakikita natin ongoing yung mga nangyayari. There's a monitoring team set up by the ministry at every provinces. So merong nagpo-monitor dyan doon sa compliance. Wala akong pagbabago doon sa directive ng DILG National, which is an order coming directly from the President to clear it within 90 days. Wala akong bago doon. So yun pa din yung timeline natin. After that, usapan with DILG National is that they will impose the penalties for LGUs that did not comply with the directive.
Okay. Next. Yes.
Attorney. Attorney, Article 10, I think it's Article 10 of the BOL provides for an office for settler communities. This is still in the process of being approved, no? Kasi parang nasa second hearing pa rin. Now, my question is, when you have problems that pertains to, the rights of non-Muslims, where can this be raised during this transitory period while the office is still being approved by Parliament?
Yes, ma'am. Ang actual status natin ay yung creation of offices. There is a committee that has been composed. And the committee is already conducting consultations as well as drafting the law that will create the offices. This one includes the Office on Settlers Affairs, as well as the office that will deal with non-Moro indigenous peoples, and a host of other offices na kailangan i-create under the organic law dahil may mandato na gawin ito. But even before an office is actually created, the concerns, issues, as well as challenges faced by all communities in the Bangsamoro, they can always raise that at the office of the Chief Minister. I'm sure it will be resolved. It will be given attention. So, regardless of whether we've created the office or not, as yet, there will always be a mechanism by which you can raise the grievances and expect solution from the regional government.
Thank you very much. Yung nagtanong po pala is si Ma'am Emma Kipotan, the Editor-in-Chief of the Mindanao Cross. Thank you very much for being with us, Ma'am. Maraming salamat. Next question po.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Amstamahan News Online. Sir, ay paulit-ulit sinabi ng Pangulo, no, tungkol sa Ligwasan Mars. Ay, nung nangit niya, o sige, explore na.
Sa MLF na yan.
Magawa itong, inaantay yung second report na rin.
Sinabi nga ni President Duterte.
Dapat yun, masin na. Ulit-ulit.
Naintindihan po natin yung kagustuhan ni Pangulo na kaagad ay ma-set into motion yung exploration, development, utilization of natural resource touted to be the natural gas in Ligoasan Mars. But these are important resources na hindi naman natin pwedeng kukain lang tapos tusukan. Magkaroon na tayo. Kasi kung ganun kadali, ako, nauna na ako doon para libre ang gasol ko sa bahay. Pero medyo masalimot yung usapin. One is yung we will need to finalize the legal framework for exercising the power to exploit, develop, utilize the natural resource. Under the organic law, yung pong oil, gas, uranium, coal ay joint ang ano rito, ang EDU. Ibig sabihin kung mag-grant ng permit yan to exploit that, you need joint signatories from the national government to the Bangsamoro. The sharing also is 50-50. But because the President is very, very insistent na sa atin na yan, sa mga Bangsamoro na yan, kayo na bahala dyan, kunin nyo na. What we've suggested to the President in the meeting in Malacanang through the Chief Minister is for the President to actually issue an executive order putting the absolute right and the prerogative to the Bangsamoro government to exercise the EDU. So, para hindi na joint, dito na lang perma, dito yung process, so mapapabilis. And it will give meaning also to the pronouncement of the President that sa atin yung Ligoasan Mars at yung resources doon. Para hindi na siya joint. Otherwise, medyo matagal yung processing yan pagka-joint. So, the executive order, the draft, has been finalized. I will need to check it with the Office of the Chief Minister if it was sent already to the Office of the President. But the Ministry of Environment, Natural Resources and Energy already submitted that document. So I was asked to edit the draft. We've sent it actually to the Office of the Chief Minister. So we expect the same to have been sent to the Office of the President. If that happens, and we have the executive order, we can quicken the pace of doing the EDU for Ligawasan Marsh. It's not just Ligawasan Marsh. We were also approached by an investor for exploitation also of a natural gas off the coast of Lugos Island in Sulu. So that's also a prospect for natural gas. Alam niyo naman, nagda-dry up na yung Palawan. So in the next few years, ubos na yun. The country needs to find another source of cheap energy, this time around in the form of a natural gas. So let's hope this one quickly develops into a resource that we can all benefit from para ho maayos natin yung papadevelop sa rehiyon, mapapabilis natin. Of course, even that would require some legislation at the level of the parliament. So we were discussing it already with the Ministry of Finance. In the country, for instance, the award for the exploitation of this kind of resources is always in partnership with the national GOCC. So if it's oil, gas, it should only be exploited by investors in partnership with the PNOC, the Philippine National Oil Corporation. So that's the mandate to ensure that the resources actually is jointly exploited with the Philippine government's GOCC. So we have to explore that possibility in the case of the Bangsamoro government. There are constitutional issues that we need to comply. Part of that compliance is to do a partnership with PNOC, the Philippine National Oil Corporation. If that is the direction, then we may need to set up a GOCC at the level of the Bangsamoro government.
Thank you very much, sir. Last 3 questions po. Next question.
Good morning po.
Ann Acosta.
Ann Acosta, Mindanao Expose. Sir, kasalukuyan po ang Vice Mayor ngayon is nagkaroon ng orientation on good governance, moral governance. Itanong ko lang po, ano po ang reaction ng MILG about dun sa mga politician until now, nag-engage pa rin ng drugs. Kahapon po, may napabalitang na isang bahay ng politician is na-raid po, nakuhanan ng it's more than 200 grams of drugs. Ano po ang reaction ng MILG po, sir?
Of course, we support the government's program to pursue drug lords, whether they're politicians, businessmen, or whatever. That's an important campaign of government that this regional government supports. The Moro Islamic Liberation Front launched a campaign against illegal drugs way ahead of the campaign of the national government. So noon pa man ay ayaw na ng Moro Islamic Liberation Front yung droga. In the ministry, there is a program to audit the functionality of the anti-drug council of all local government units. That includes municipalities, barangays, and provinces. In the current year, there is an audit that was undertaken and completed only last week. Almost all the local government units complied, except very few in Lanao del Sur na hindi na-activate yung anti-drug councils nila at hindi nagkaroon ng actions yung mga anti-drug councils. We've already submitted the report also to the national government kung ano-ano itong mga LGUs na to para alam nila. The agreement with the national government is that last year, we submitted also a list sa kanila kung sino yung mga hindi nag-comply sa directive to activate and for these anti-drug councils to take a very strong campaign against illegal drugs. This time around, ang usapan with the LGUs that appropriate penalties will be imposed against LGUs that did not comply. So mga non-compliant LGUs to sa ATC or Anti-Drug Abuse Council at saka Municipal Anti-Drug Abuse Council, magkakaroon ng penalties yun. But of course, these are just measures at the level of the NGOs to make sure that our government at all levels actually responds to the challenge. I think part of what we need to seriously think about is what to do with drug dependence also. Kasi for as long as you have a demand for the illegal drugs, there would always be those who would sell it. The other component that we need to be serious about is the supply side of the illegal drugs. Where is it coming from? Why is it reaching the shores of the country? Unless we stop that also, no amount of effort at eliminating drug dependence would be successful for as long as the supply comes in. So both sides we will have to address, and it's a campaign that we cannot left solely for LGUs to do. I think every member of the society would have to take its share for this fight. Otherwise, we will be left with a generation that's mga zombies. Wala nang capacity to think, and I think that's dangerous for this country. So let's all prod government to do its share, but let us also contribute to the fight against illegal drugs.
Last question.
Attorney, can you tell us about the proposal from Mindanao Development Authority by Manny Tignol that was proposed to the Bangsamoro government about the exportation of coconut? Ano po mechanism po ng ating lokal na ating ang farm po in terms of the implementation of this proposal?
I've not seen as yet, and I was not also briefed about the full extent of the proposal coming from Minda on the coconut. But what we've talked about with the Chief Minister is that the coconut is an important industry of the region. Currently, masyado mababa yung presyo ng coconut. So there has to be serious intervention on ensuring that coconut farmers actually benefit from the tree. Ang problem natin yata ay underutilized yung coconut. So hindi natin nagagamit yung lahat ng parte niya. Ideally, lahat nun may gamit at mabenta ng mga farmers. So that if you diversify the products, then the prices cannot easily be dictated upon by middlemen. So kung ang gagamitin lang natin yung meat ng coconut, we don't make use of the husk of the other components, including the coconut water, it's not going to be very profitable for many of our farmers. And therefore, a more comprehensive approach will have to be taken to address the issue of our coconut farmers. Hindi ako sigurado how comprehensive is the proposal coming from Minda, and what are the other components of the proposal. Does it include financing? Does it include works at the level of the coconut farmers? Does it address the issue of market? Does it address the issue of Kukulisa bin Basilan? So it should really be a more comprehensive strategy for bringing about productivity in the coconut industry.
Alright, maraming salamat po. So that ends our video tomorrow. Magandang umaga po muli. So bago po tayo umalis, meron pong food para po sa lahat. And of course, may kape po. Kung sino po yung gusto magkape, of course. Alright, once again, maraming salamat po sa ating mga partners, the media, for always being so supportive